Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of my Catch, Hold, and Release series. The modern card market appears to have slumped over the last month, and I have 8 verdicts for you this time. Welcome back to the Poke-Ticker. Let's see what the market's telling us. Thanks again for joining. First up, I have the Mew EX from Paldea Fates here, otherwise known as the Bubble Mew. You can see in the last month it's off a little over 6%. However, if you go and look at the last year, it's up 46% overall. Really took a nice big dip here in the beginning of the year, right around late winter. And since then has just been enjoying a nice big pump up to the top price of almost $1,100. Market price is now just down under $1,000. However, you come down here to the listings, $925, $935. There's several here under $950. So this card continues to drop. This obviously is a really popular card and one a lot of people have been looking to get. Because of that data, I would say that this is a catch right now. Even though it's up 43% over the year, it did hit its peak price at $1,100. And if you can get it down closer to $940, $925, even some of those prices I saw at $900, that's a pretty big reduction in price from where it got all the way up to. You most likely missed that low all the way down in February, but if this is something that you were holding off on and you're like, shoot, did I miss it? Now could be a really good time. Next up, I have the Pikachu with the gray felt hat. This is a really divisive card for whatever reason. There's so many people that absolutely love it, but then also people that don't love it. And I feel like the people that are real big fans of this card come out to defend it with a vengeance. The current market price is a little short of $1,100. You can see it's pretty even in the last month. However, if you go over the last year, it's up over 135%. The card was only $500 here back in January and $450, $460 back here in August about a year ago. And it's pumped all the way up to $1,100 and, pulled back just a little bit. But I made the call that this card was overpriced. And recently I had several people come back at me and say, no, it's not overpriced, that this is how modern collectors are using their money. They're spending their money on it. So it's not something that's overpriced. However, I would argue it definitely is. I'm not sure why people defend it so hard. Obviously, it's a really popular card, but we should not be paying $1,100 for it, less than 3 years out of the gate, on something that was printed up to 1 million copies for. You can come down here and you can see current listings are a little bit less below that 1,100, so 1,138, 1,147, and then you get up in there. But this card just has so many copies out there. Moonbreon had a similar trajectory, but that card wasn't printed 1 million times. I understand the supply and demand aspect of it all, but this card has been pumped up so high, it's almost due to come back down for a little bit. And it did that when it first came out as well. Because of that, I would say this is definitely a release right now. You could see on the TCG graph, even though it's flattened out in the last month, it's up 137% in the last year, and really up over 100% in just the last 6 months or so. It's at the absolute peak price. If you've been holding on to these as something from an investment standpoint and not really part of your collection, definitely a good time to sell. Will they go up more in the future? I'm sure they will, but if you're trying to move some capital from one place to the other, this is definitely one. You could also grade some copies, but there's 50,000 PSA 10s. There's 55,000 PSA 9s. It's absolutely insane. Over 110,000 copies have been graded by PSA alone. So the fact that this card just continues to react that way is a little bit mind-boggling and definitely atypical. Just be aware of that if this is something that you really love, that you're investing in, that you're collecting, because it may not follow the typical patterns of the majority of the cards out there. Next, I wanted to give a verdict on the Moltres Zapdos Articuno GX, the stained glass birds as we call it. And part of the reason I chose this one is because it's very similar in my opinion to the gray felt hat Pikachu, both in how much it was printed and the fact that it was a promo card and how popular it is. I know it's a little bit older at this point, right? Came out with Hidden Fates, but you can see it's off a little over 1%, so pretty flat in the last month with a $161 market price, but in the last year, up 50%. Even if you ignore this kind of one little drop here to 55, it was $90, $80, and has jumped all the way up to $160, $170 here. Listings are right in line with that 162 essentially. So tons of listings of that. This card was printed into oblivion, has tons of copies, very similar to the gray felt hat Pikachu. This is a hold though. It's top of its market right now, but it's flattened out. There's a strong likelihood it may come down a little bit, especially once we get to the 30th anniversary here. I know I've said that a lot recently, but the 30th anniversary is basically dominating the market right now, and there's no way to get around it. I've seen a couple different people put together some data that shows that every single modern set has retracted in price over the last month. Definitely showing that people are holding their money back as they get ready for the 30th anniversary. It'll be really interesting to see when that comes out and how much of an effect that will have, but for now, hold on this card. Next is the 151 Ultra Premium Collection. Sadly, I missed out on this when it first came out. Never was able to get one, so it's very expensive right now. $935, $936 market price. Again, kind of flat right now, but if you look in the last year, an 85% jump. It was only about $500, $600 here, and if you go all the way back, just over $500 in August, so a year ago, and took a really big jump up. Now, it looks like there may have been some manipulation here with the buys, but even if you count to over $1,000, it's still coming up from $600 to $1,000 right here. So it has seen, in the last 3 months, a nice big drop down 20%. There are some listings here, I know with some tears, but 932, 930. So some listings down here right in along with the market price, but still well below that top price it hit over here of almost $1,300. Because of that, this is definitely a catch. If you can pick it up while it's in this dip right now, even though it's flattened on the last month, in the last 3 months, that big reduction in price is really great, especially if this is something you felt like you missed out on and you thought it was going to the moon. It's now retracted a little bit and gives you a great buying opportunity. Now we have the other really popular Ultra Premium Collection or Super Premium Collection. It's basically the same kind of product here from Prismatic Evolutions. The market price is a little above 260. In the last month, it's come off almost 5%. But if you look at the year graph, it's quite interesting to look at. You can see it was starting to take off in the fall last year. Took a nice big dip in the holiday season, which is normal for the most part, and then started to really go up before a reprint was announced. The reprint came out in April, I believe, and you can see as soon as that reprint was announced and people saw it was coming, it's been continually dropping. However, in the last month or so, you can see it, even though it's 5%, it's starting to flatten here. Sorry, I was blocking you there. The downward trend is starting to flatten a little bit. The market price 260. If you come over here, first one is 258, although it has tears. So if we go to the next one, just above that 260 market price for a lot of these. Just like the 151 UPC, this is also a catch. I mean, it dropped all the way down from going up to $400. It's now all the way back down at $260. If this is something you missed out on, definitely the time to buy. That downward trend is starting to flatten. And then, honestly, these UPC, SPC products do really, really well long term. If you are looking for something that's cool that you can put on your shelf, these things are really great, and they also see really good jumps in price in their history. Next is one of the Ascended Heroes cards I haven't gone over yet. It's Team Rocket's Mewtwo from Ascended Heroes. You can see here it's at a market price of $325. In the last month, off almost 20%. If you look at 6 months to a year, I know it started here, and dropped all the way to $270. It's probably going to get close, if not below that starting price. Once Ascended Heroes really started getting product out there, all of the Ascended Heroes products are now coming down, and this one is no different. New mint copies here are just above $300, and there's tons of them. You can see 135 copies currently out here. This is going to come back down, and hopefully comes back down to at least that starting price. Because of that, I would definitely hold. All the data right now is showing that it's going to come down even further. Even the market price is $325. You can see on TCGPlayer it's closer to $300. And if it keeps going the way it is, it's going to get even lower. You won't be hurting if you miss the absolute lowest point. If you end up getting it at $325 or $350 even, that's still a big reduction from where it was and where it was going. So wait a little bit longer. You'll most likely have a really good opportunity to get this for the best price possible. Because we went over the Mew EX, I wanted to go over a couple other illustration rares that are rotating out. The first one here is the Raichu from Paldea Evolved. I really like this card, the Sleeping Raichu. Really fun. Market price is just over $100. In the last month, you can see it's off 12%. However, it's starting to flatten here. If you go in the year, up 120%. In December, a little under $50, I guess. But again, the set rotates out or rotated out just recently. I want to say either April or June of this year. People have realized it's not going to be in print much longer. Probably won't see a lot more product. If you come down here to the listings, are all in line with that $100 market price. Because of that, I would have this as a release. It hit that peak, retracted, like I'm showing here, about 12%, but it's flattened. It doesn't look like it's going to come down too much more. If this is something that you're just holding from an investment standpoint, doesn't fit in your collection anymore, now could be a really good time to sell it. Lastly is one of the other really good illustration rares from Paldea Evolved, the Marill. I went over the Magikarp last week. These are two of the other really great ones. I'm a big fan of this card. You can see in the last month it's off 8.5%. The market price is about $55. Same thing as the Raichu, right? Last year it's down here in the $20 range, up 144%. Same kind of thing. People realized it was starting to rotate in April or June, and the price started to spike. You can come here and you can see everything's right there at that $50, so a little bit below the $55. Because of that, I would say it's a hold. It doesn't look like it's completely flattened yet. I know my graph doesn't do great justice because it's wide here, but it looks like it could be coming down a little bit further with the market price at 55, but the lowest listings are closer to 50. It may go down even a little bit further. You may, if you were trying to sell this, miss the absolute height at the current time, but if you were looking to buy it, you'll probably get an opportunity to get it under $50 in the next couple months. That wraps up this week's Catch, Hold, and Release series. Thanks again for watching. Let me know if you agreed with me or disagreed on any of my calls, especially the Pikachu with the gray felt hat. I know there's a strong group of fans out there that really defend it and really love it. Be interested to hear from you about what your feelings are on it. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next video.